Welcome to the Daily Parks and Rec Show from the CPRS Conference 2026. This episode is all about the power of storytelling in parks and recreation. From youth sports to social media strategy, we're joined by Cena Murphy, a rising voice in the industry who's turning passion into purpose, sharing how authentic stories, strong branding, and simple tools can transform the way we connect with our communities. If you've ever been handed the role of marketing and didn't know where to start, this conversation is for you. We'll break down how to build your brand, create engaging content, and why sometimes all you need is your phone, your message, and the courage to hit record. Let's dive in.
All right, we are live again. This is Craig LeBlanc with the Daily Parks and Rec Show, live from the CPRS Convention 2026 out in California. And we've got one of the great members of the National Academy of Athletics. They've been one of our earliest sponsors. And her founder and boss is Aaron Locks, and he hosts our Thursday show, 1:30 p.m. Eastern, every Thursday, talking all about youth sports, the Youth Sports Mastery Show. And so maybe talk about, Cena, how did you get involved in youth sports? Maybe what's your youth sports background?
Yeah, okay. Well, I recently graduated from Sonoma State University. I graduated in May, and then I became involved with the National Academy of Athletics as a public relations and marketing intern. In the past, obviously, I'm out of college. This is my first real big girl gig, I guess you could say. So I became the area captain. And so in terms of professional experience, I don't really have much in Parks and Rec, but personal experience, lots and lots. I was one of those kids that played every single sport under the books. My parents put me in everything. They put me in competitive sports, and they also put me in rec sports. And so that's where I really got my basis of knowledge in all sports.
And what were some of the sports you really enjoyed?
When I was younger, I loved soccer, and then one day I forgot to wear shin guards.
Oh, no.
And so I never played again. But volleyball, track and field, soccer. I played a little bit of basketball. I played CYO, Aaron's League for a little bit. Those were my main ones. Yeah.
And so now you're in more of the marketing branding side?
Yeah.
And is that what you went to school for?
Yes. Yeah. I went to school. I got a degree in communications and media studies.
Okay, so then maybe we can give just some advice for somebody that's in a Parks and Rec department. Maybe they're a college kid and there's nobody in charge of marketing, so they just hand it to you and say, hey, now you're in charge of Parks and Rec marketing.
Yeah.
What kind of 101 advice would you give somebody that's now kind of doing marketing for a department?
Yeah, that's a great question. It's, every city, every area is a little bit different. So all of our markets are a little bit different. But I would say just building that brand of who you are. National Academy of Athletics has a great brand. So I had a really good basis to start with. But telling those stories of the kids that you're working with. I think storytelling is really the basis to all really great marketing, especially in Parks and Rec, because we're working for the community and we have to tell people that. And social media is huge.
Yes.
It's really blown up. Obviously, papers and flyers are all great too, but I think putting yourself out there in social media is awesome. I did a lot of camera work in college, and so I did a lot of media. So I got comfortable with being in front of the camera, and that has helped me tremendously. Just make videos for NAFA and be comfortable looking at a camera and put myself out there. And when people see a smiling face on their screen, they're kind of more excited to watch what you have to say. So I would say, that would be my
So when you talk about like the camera work, what are some of the things that you learned on that journey? Maybe what are some of the early mistakes you made, and then kind of where have you seen improvement?
Yeah, so I took a really pivotal class in college. It was a sports broadcasting class with Amy G. She used to be the live reporter for the Giants, the San Francisco Giants. And so she really taught us a lot of things, and it was a tough class. But I would say really focusing on what you have to say and taking that time and thinking. A lot of kids or people in my generation say and they say and so getting confident, and you have to sit in front of that screen by yourself or in front of a mirror and just talk. And it's weird to also look directly at yourself. And people aren't really comfortable with doing that. But I think sitting in front of those screens and getting used to what you look like and getting confident with it really helps you out. And I think that confidence really builds up that camera presence, and people can feel it, and you're not stuttering as much, and you're more energetic.
Yeah, and I think as skilled as you might be, or as natural of a speaker you might be, I don't know if anything beats the reps. Just having 100, camera takes in under your belt
Yes.
And so where did you get most of your reps?
Assignments.
Assignments?
Yeah, she would have us do, we would do a fake sports broadcasting. And I would sit there, and I'm a little bit of a perfectionist, a little bit type A, so I would sit there and retake it probably 50 times and just over and over until I really felt confident with it. And so that was where I got the most reps, because when you are live and when you get that chance to go live and you become that sports broadcaster, you get one shot. So
That's right.
you gotta get the reps in. Yeah.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about social media. How is this evolving, how we communicate with our communities, or just communication in general? Do you communicate a little bit differently on the different social media platforms? And then which ones have you gotten familiar with?
Yeah, so I would say I'm biggest with Instagram. Prior to me becoming the area captain, we actually didn't have Instagram for our area. And so I've taken over that space, and I think that that's really big with the younger generation, but I also think there's a lot of younger parents on there as well, and really people of all ages. And so Instagram's a fun app. It's supposed to be fun. No one wants boring things on there. So I think that coming at it from that angle of just making sure that it's entertaining, it's fast, it's fun, there's a hook, that people want to watch it. They don't want to, we don't have attention spans anymore, unfortunately. And so making sure that you really get that hook down and that energy, I think, is the best way to go about Instagram. Facebook's pretty similar as well. And tackling those two are kind of the same strategy. We're not really on TikTok, but TikTok would be the same. And then LinkedIn, obviously, it's a little more professional. You have to kind of keep it together a bit more. You can still be fun, but there's a little bit less creative realm in that sense, which is why I love Instagram so much, is I can just go do some funky things and post it, and it goes great. Yeah.
Now, have y'all mostly stuck with video? Have you maybe talk about written word and how that's important, and maybe engaging community online?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we do a mix of videos, and then we also do a lot of digital posts, and then just email campaigns and stuff like that. And I feel like there is something to be said that people still love a flyer, and they still love physical written words. And videos do great as well. Videos are really good attention getters, but I would say that people want their information still from a written piece of paper. That way they can kind of go back and look at it and make sure that they're getting all the right information and they have all their answers from that. And so, yeah, I would say videos are good to grab people's attention and inform them quickly about what's going on, and then always relying back on the old school flyers and the papers and the words. It's what people want.
All right, so let's talk about storytelling. How do you just define storytelling for those that aren't really familiar with the concept?
That's a good question. I would say, at least from my background, storytelling, at least for a brand, is really trying to figure out what motivates your brand, what motivates your company, having that mission statement. From there, that's what you build that storytelling on. So you have that mission statement, you make it clear, you know what you're working for. We're working for the kids, we're working for the community, we're working to bring rec sports back. That's our mission statement. From there, you can build on and storytell and connect stories of kids that you've worked with into your branding, and you can tell those stories to your audience and connect everything. Everything's interconnected, but it all should come down to that mission statement and make sure that it's clear for everyone. And I think sometimes in business and life, we can go too quickly and we forget about it. And so always coming back to that mission statement is great. And then you can build out that story from there.
All right, so then what is the mission and vision of National Academy of Athletics?
The mission and vision is to bring rec sports back. That's a really, really big thing right now. I think that what's really important, I've experienced this, I was a big former athlete. A lot of kids are getting into sports young, and it's getting ultra competitive. And I'm sure you've heard Aaron talk about this. I'm sure you've heard him talk burnout, and he's probably talked your ear off about it. But I really relate to it, and I think a lot of people do too, is National Academy of Athletics, we provide a fun space for kids to learn sports, to enjoy it, to go home happy and tired. Sports should be about fun. We're working with kids from as young as 3 years old. There's no reason to assume that a 3 to 5 year old's going to go D1 in college, right? And so making sure that these kids are trying multiple different sports and they're not just going one route. Their parents isn't just making them do that one sport because they think that they're going to go pro with it. And getting all of that experience is really our goal, is providing that space.
All right, so now when we're creating content for a mission, and we've got all the different varieties of content, what are some of the ones that you feel like are great first steps for a Parks and Rec department to make? Is it just like a little short, or is it maybe like a full-on interview, or where would you suggest they kind of start when trying to get the word out about the Parks and Rec is?
Of what they're doing. I would say shorts are a really great way to go. Again, like I said, we don't really have attention spans, and so people need something quick. So getting a short 30-second video of the mission statement of Parks and Rec, and generally speaking, I think people are on the same page of Parks and Rec is meant for fun. And I think a lot of people do know that, but there's, I'm sure, a good amount who don't, and will probably go to Parks and Rec looking for an intercompetitive league, and maybe that's what they're wanting. And so making sure that statements coming out quick and easy to understand, and then building it out from there. Different posts about it, different. Aaron does it all the time, where he obviously has this one mission statement, and then he's created many different videos on that one subject and just branching out to the storytelling of his mission statement.
Now, what kind of equipment would you recommend? I mean, for somebody starting up, can't you just start with like an iPhone and make content there, and then maybe what kind of stuff?
Yeah, absolutely, an iPhone. That's all you need. I mean, iPhones are great. That's what I used throughout college. We actually, it's funny, we had access to really nice, really nice. They were actually really old cameras, and so iPhone quality was actually far better. But I would start with good audio. Good audio is obviously great to have, and I think that it kind of ties that visual and audio aspect together and makes it a little bit more cohesive. But the camera, iPhone camera is great. I think audio is not great, so maybe go with an audio kit. You can get one off of Amazon for pretty cheap.
Right.
And then just start there, and then having good lighting is also really, really key. But we have the sun. So,
that's it.
Yeah.
Now, is there any type of software you use to kind of do what you do?
Yeah, so throughout college, we were really dialed into Premiere Pro, so kind of Adobe softwares. And those ones are a little bit more difficult to navigate. So if someone was just starting out doing content creation and doing media, or someone who doesn't know media at all, I would go the CapCut route. CapCut has been a really great tool, and it's very, very easy to use. We also use a lot of Canva. That one's great, and that one's easy to use as well. But there's really medias for every level. I think people just really need to take a couple minutes out of their day to learn it, and it's really intimidating for a lot. But I will say that I think anyone can learn it, and they've made these softwares really accessible for everyone.
Yeah, and I think the same would apply. Is just get the reps in. If this is your first time editing a video or posting, it's probably going to be a train wreck. But once you get like 10, 15 under your belt, that's how you become proficient at it.
Yes, absolutely.
Any closing remarks as to, is this your first time at CPRS?
Yeah, it is.
So what are your thoughts?
Yeah, it's been super fun. You know, I actually didn't expect as many people to be here. Initially, I didn't really know why Aaron was bringing me. I know he was like, it's going to be a good experience, and I couldn't really figure out why. But I think just talking to people and connecting with them, and one thing that I really, really enjoy is you can tell that these people are very passionate about what they do. And I feel like you don't see that a lot in the world. I think people lose their passion, lose their spark, and they get lost in it. And at least at CPRS, everyone's really, really involved. Everyone's into it. Everyone's talking. And that human connection is there. And I'm really big on human connection and talking to people. And a space like this is so, so special. And so I'm so happy to be here to just get to talk to people like you and talk to people that I would never talk to in the real world.
Yeah, well, this is a big family reunion for these people. They come together, and you feel like this is all one big happy family, and this is the time to come together. They do a lot of stuff professionally, but I would recommend that you go party with them at night.
Yeah.
Because that's where they really get to see who they
Scary.
are. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
gonna be a blast.
Yeah.
Definitely take advantage of it.
I will.
Well, thank you so much for coming on the show today. I appreciate you sharing all your knowledge around marketing and branding. And I think that is just something I think this industry doesn't do well enough, is just tell their story. And that's one of the reasons we're here, creating the first media company for the industry, is to help these people just tell their story. And then sometimes it's just the blocking and tackling of just start, use your iPhone, start posting, and you'll get better.
Just do it.
Well, thank you so much for coming on to us.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Take care.
Are you a vendor, brand, or service provider ready to connect with the heartbeat of local communities? At DPRS Media Co., we tell the stories shaping parks and recreation across America. Through podcasts, live streams, videos, and newsletters, we reach frontline leaders, city directors, and decision makers every single week. From youth sports and facilities to programming and policy, our audience is your audience. Sponsoring or partnering with DPRS Media Co. puts your brand in front of the professionals who build, budget, and buy for their communities. Launching a new product, growing your presence in public spaces, targeting cities, counties, or departments, DPRS is your trusted media partner. Whether you're in software, turf, aquatics, robotics, smart cities, or special events, partnering with DPRS puts your brand in the story. With commercials, interviews, social campaigns, newsletters, and live shows, we're your media team. Partner with us and grow your impact in the $200 billion Parks and Rec industry. DPRS Media Co. Stories that move Parks and Rec forward. Your audience is here. Let's meet them.